Blog Talk Radio.
Now for those that still in awake, you better wise up. Push down the remote, time for you to rise up. Splash water on your face, open your eyes up. Investigate yourself before time's up. Zombies walking around, it's so sickening. Whole world is sheep, right for the picking. Need one thing out of three to start clicking. One of these things is a new world religion. Environmentalism, greenhouse gases, media hiding through facts from the masses. Kids getting indoctrinated in classes. New age religion being spread like fashion. Tree worshippers say leave room for nature go green. Recycle all your plastic and paper. Carbon tax cheaper cause we give false papers. Fills up the pockets of the rich money makers. Don't believe a word from me. Walking on like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking on like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes. You got shadow government tracking your every movement. Done for your safety, technology improvements. Biometric cards soon to be issued. Private information bound to get misused. RFID chips used for tracking. Much information that the government's stacking. Done in secret cause the knowledge we lacking. All being done with the UN's backing. United Nations, one world order. Immigrants walk right through open borders. Depopulation, you can now see the slaughter. You only know what the TV taught ya. Socialistic world government system. Liberty taken, no freedom given. This right here is the world that we live in. New world order, Barack's gonna bring in. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Economic collapse, one world currency. Cashless society, soon the world will be. Slaves in debt to the globalist elite. Plan is to bring the dollar bill to its feet. Control the money, one world economy. IMF, World Bank, Antichrist tyranny. Uninformed people made blind so they don't see. Dictators of the whole world they trying to be. Smart money cars that track what you buying. Big brother watching, your government spying. President on TV, be straight lying. Globalist puppet and there is no denying. Wall Street bailout, stock market crashing. How we gonna pay this back, we be asking. Government plans for a whole lot of taxing. Just one part of the plan they'll be hatching. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see. Don't believe a word from me. Walking around like a zombie. While they're taking liberty. Open your eyes so you can see.
Yo, what's up? What's going on? This is Ninja Scroll, and you are listening to the Let's Talk Conspiracy Show. And we have a great show for you planned today, so stick around, hang in for the next hour. We got a great show, like I said. Today is December 17th, 2010, and we're getting ready to get into this holiday thing, which you guys all know how I feel about that, but this is a whole new show we got today. Today on the show we have Joshua Hunter, a.k.a. DJ Joshua, who will be on the phone with us in a little bit. and he's going to be talking about a lot of different issues that's going on in the world, so stick around for that. And he's also going to be talking about his new CD that he's got coming out. He's got a new CD coming out. He's also a hip-hop artist, so and I want you guys to check out his stuff. He has a lot of information in the song as well. But before we get started, I want to everybody know that make sure you check out the website, www.ninjascroll.net, and that's about it right now. I'm just going to get into the show. I'm really anxious to talk to my man here. We talked a little bit last week on Facebook about certain things, and he's a really good guy. So let me introduce you right now. I'm going to put him on the line right now. Let me introduce you, Joshua Hunter, a.k.a. DJ Joshua. Oh, I think I just hung up on him. Call back, please. Oh, my goodness. I hit the wrong button. I hit the wrong button, so just hang on there, and I'm going to call him back up and get him back on the line. Maybe he'll call back. But I'm going to call my other phone and see if I can get him back on the line. Sorry about that. Hit the wrong button. Oh, I got my phone on me, don't I? It's in my pocket. And if you're out there, if you're listening, call back in. I hit the wrong button, hit the hang-up button on accident, Josh. So call back, and where is my other phone at? All right. Hang on, give me 1 second. I'm going to call him back up and get him back on the line. So hold on 1 second. Yo, what's up? It's Ninja. Yeah, call the line back up. I hit the wrong button. All right. All right, I got him. He's going to call back, and we'll get this going in a second here. It's good to have everybody listening, and so let's see if he calls back, and he should be calling back. Hit the hang-up button instead of the on-air button. I'm very excited about the show, and I'm looking forward to having him. Here he's back on, so let's get him back. Once again, without further ado, here is Joshua Hunter, a.k.a. DJ Joshua. My friend, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. What's going on, man?
Everything is good, man. I'm sorry about that. I hit the wrong button, and I hung up on you on accident. But
these things happen.
It's good to have you here online with us on Ninja Scroll Radio, Let's Talk Conspiracy Show. And before we get started, why don't you just give us a little background about yourself? Tell the people about yourself a little bit.
Right. I've been a performance DJ for about 14 years. I started making some beats to kind of mix in with my sets a few years ago, and that kind of turned into me wanting to do something more with it. And I've had this message and this drive and desire to kind of inform people for the past probably 8 to 10 years now through different activist channels that I've used, and that sort of started to mesh with the music more and more. And I started to find it as a way to be able to use that medium to get that message out more. So it just kind of started as a small thing and turned into a different take on hip-hop.
Yeah, I can understand that definitely, because I pretty much am doing the same thing that you're doing. I'm using the music to put out a message to people rather than just talking about bling and sex and all the other crap that's on the radio now. And that's exactly why I think we're drawn to each other, because we both have a message that we're trying to put out in our music, and it seems like in this industry it's harder for us to do that because that's not the type of message that they want out.
Right. Yeah, no, that it's not encouraged in the industry. I mean, I think dumbing things down and really just trying to help people forget and be just the entertainment is what they want. You know, really an informed populace is the biggest threat against any kind of takeover of a legitimate government, which is, I mean, basically what we are facing in this time in multiple levels.
I agree 100% with you. All right, why don't you tell us about your CD that you have coming out? Give yourself a good plug in your CD, where they can buy it, and if it's on sale or when it's due to come out.
All right. I've got a couple things in the works right now. The new album, I postponed about 2 months. It'll probably be dropping. I'm looking for it to come out around the 1st of March. It's going to be the full release It's going to be the only one that's actually digital and physical copy release, and it's going to be available through Reverb Nation, SoundClick. Trying to get that on iTunes right now, so hopefully it'll be very available for you. My Reverb Nation site, www.reverbnation.com/TheDJJoswa. It'll all be available there for you. I've got a mixtape that drops 1/11/11, and it's just going to basically be me taking a couple of these tracks that they've abused with these great beats and trying to really put some message behind it and try and say something. So be looking out for that too.
Sounds great. I'll definitely be looking out for that as well. And I got the chat room opened up, so let me go ahead and type in your Reverb Nation inside the chat room. We have some people in there, so I'll type in the link in the chat room, and then we'll go ahead and get started with the other stuff we got. So you said it's www.reverbnation.
/DDJJoswa.
Got you. Excuse the typing if you hear the typing. I know a lot of people hear me typing when I'm doing this stuff. All right, reverbnation.com /DJJoswa, correct?
That is correct.
All right, we got that up in there as the link for his Reverb Nation site. If anybody, I think I did that wrong. Hold on 1 second. Let me do it one more time. I put 2 J's in the DJ.
DJJASWA.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
And we'll get back. We'll get right on to the stuff that we want to talk about. While I'm doing this, I'm just about done, so I'm just going to do this. Okay, we got it right. DJ Joshua. Okay, we're good. DJJASWA, correct?
That is it.
All right, we're good. We had it right the first time. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about some things that you're familiar with. Let's talk about the Korean War thing that's going on over there in North and South Korea. What's your thoughts on that? What do you think is going on over there?
That's a situation that's been brewing for some time, and I'm actually former Navy search and rescue, and I can remember even when I was in 2000, we were, this is, pre-9/11, of course, they were already talking about we were mobilizing to move into Iraq, and that we would be moving into Iraq, and from there Afghanistan, and from there possibly North Korea. It's really sort of been a stepped-out plan that's been moving along in increments since at least 2000, probably before that. The most recent things that's really kind of sparked interest is the events that happened around Seoul and what happened at the Yongpyong Island, which is it's sort of almost in neutral waters between North and South Korea, and South Korea uses it to test artillery fire, and they've been doing this for quite a while now, and it's a monthly test that they do just to run the artillery fires. And this last month, North Korea retaliated against it by bombarding Yongpyong Island with about 170 artillery rounds on a very small island, destroyed about 30 homes. It killed 4 people, 2 of them innocent civilians, and they justified that as being a retaliation against some sort of an attack that they were fearing from South Korea. And really it was just something to sort of, if you will, heighten the awareness of what's going on and really kind of bring it to the front stage. I believe maybe Kim Jong-il is trying to assert himself more and more in that area, and that was just sort of the first power grab move as an attack against them. It's even gone as far as, Beijing getting involved in talking about a 6-party discussion with the U.S., North and South Korea, China, Japan, and Russia. And that's the makings of your next world war right there. Wow.
Yeah, so you included Russia in that. So and Iran as well, you said?
It's the U.S., North and South Korea, China, Japan, and Russia.
And Japan, okay. Okay. Do you see Iran fitting this anywhere?
Iran is sort of a whole other issue on its own. But the problem is when North Korea is involved, you're going to have Iran and you're going to have China involved as well. So right. That's what makes this situation so much more intense, is the fact of all the world players that are really, really tied into this. And I guess it sort of just, it would help it escalate even quicker.
And so the effect of on the U.S., how is this going to affect us here? And eventually our sovereignties and everything will be affected by all this stuff going on. Because what I see them trying to do is trying to devaluate our dollar, number one, take away so that our money is worthless. And that's the one thing I see them doing. Another thing that they're doing with us is they're going to take away our sovereignty so that we will all become like a one-world government. Is that all part of this plan, this whole Korean thing?
Absolutely. When we're pushed into a time of crisis, the more war and crisis that they can develop, the more they can present the solution, which in order to protect us, of course, is, the movement into martial law. And that's something I've been trying to cover and be concerned about for some time now, especially with all these new crowd control, non-lethalized weapons that they've actually started talking about more, that you see more of, being mass-produced and used, against projected use against a large populace. I really can't, these aren't weapons of war. These are obviously weapons to detain U.S. citizens or citizens which, are to a country specifically that country is trying to contain. It's not used against your enemies. It's used against your own people. That's all those weapons are for. And there's been so many of those produced recently that it's hard not to raise an eyebrow and wonder what's really going on and why they would need these weapons. Same thing with the FEMA camps and the way that things are set up. Everything that's been coming down the pipeline, it all kind of just fits into a nice little puzzle. If you really step away from it and take back and look at it, it's sort of mind-boggling almost.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up because I was just going to ask you about the FEMA camps. Because, like you were just saying, how this stuff is all going to turn into like a martial law type thing. The one world government, that's one way for them to initiate in a one world government, as you can tell by 9/11, is to create a problem, and then you watch the reaction of the people and then give them a solution. So you see what the people want you to do, and then you do that. You give them the solution. And that's exactly what 9/11 was, because the Patriot Act was made before 9/11 even happened. So after 9/11 happened, the Patriot Act was put into effect, and after they heard everybody screaming, "Save us from the terrorists," so then here comes the Patriot Act, which inside the Patriot Act gives them the right to detain U.S. citizens for no reason
Suspension
at all.
of habeas corpus.
Exactly. Suspension of habeas corpus. So let's get into the FEMA camps, because I was just watching a couple of things. There's a movie out called Camp FEMA, where they're talking about it, and I know Jesse the Body Ventura did a thing on his conspiracy theory on the FEMA camps. I think he's going to be killed eventually because he's getting into too much stuff.
He really has been very outspoken, but that's what it takes. He's been there. He's seen the underside of it. He's spoken with people that are legitimately connected to these quote conspiracy theories. And I mean, he's on a better footing to really talk about what's happening than basically anyone else. I mean, it'd be hard to believe someone that hasn't been in his position, and it's hard not to believe someone that has. So even Alex Jones did a couple of series called Police State. There's, I believe, 4 of them out now, just that basically kind of summarizes how FEMA has come into this position of power that they're in now. Starting from 1803, there was a big fire in New Hampshire, and in order to get relief to those people, FEMA was sort of instituted at that point. And through the 60s and 70s, through natural and man-made disasters, President Carter signed in Executive Order 12127, which merged 10 different agencies together into FEMA. And in March of 2003, of course, they joined 22 other agencies in Homeland Security, basically broadening their power dramatically.
Wow. So, and these fusion, I don't know if you heard of these fusion stations, I guess they're called. Have you heard of those?
Familiarize me with those.
They're all over the place. I can't remember the exact name. They're called fusion something. I was just looking it up the other day. But what they are, they're like they're all over the nation, and they're basically like headquarters for the FEMA camps. And eventually they're all merging together. Type up, let me see if I can bring it up online here while we're talking. But it's called Fusion. Let me see if I can find it real fast. If I can find it, we'll go ahead into it. But if not, we'll skip over it. But I really do want to get your opinion on the FEMA camps. But while I'm looking it up, I want you to talk to me about, or tell the people, about these FEMA camps. I know you told them some information about the executive orders that have been put out there. I know there's one, HR 645 is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Let these guys know all about these FEMA camps and how they're going to be used to detain which part of us civilians. Of course, people like you and I who are outspoken about stuff.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And, give us more information on those.
Oh, yeah. I'd love to, man. Basically, we started really noticing the FEMA camps all originated from the REX 87 initiative, which was supposedly to resist or quell any sort of uprising against another nationality. Say if there was a great influx from the border of Mexicans, and they felt that they needed to contain them in some way. They had these Ready Initiative camps, these REX 87 camps, to contain them in. They were left basically abandoned for 10, 20 years, completely unused. And within the past 6 or 7 years, basically since 9/11 really, we've seen a lot of activity occurring within them, such as perimeter fencing with a barbed wire pointing in rather than out. It's not to keep people from getting in, it's to keep people from getting out. That's quite clear. They're all placed by train tracks. Anyone that studied the Holocaust sees how this pattern repeats itself. There's large buildings, each one equipped with a giant furnace to it for immediate, incineration of remains or cremation of remains. There's marked places by the tracks for the red, yellow, and blue areas. There's processing centers, turnstiles set up. Now it's gone even further where there are helicopter windsocks, landing zones. They're armed with FEMA guards in black SWAT uniforms carrying M16 machine guns around the clock now. And these they're only beefing that up. And from what we've seen, and of course, the debacle in Georgia over the plastic coffins that they had on that farm. I don't know how familiar you are with that, but FEMA had thousands of these coffins with no other use, but they were simply for bodies, and they had no explanation for it. And they've been moving those around, trying to hide those and conceal that somewhat. They never really spoke out about what that was for, other than in the case of a great disaster, we would be able to, easily be able to take in and contain the dead and be able to move them. But it goes so much deeper than that. And the whole thing with the way that the FEMA camps are set up, they're ready for processing, and they're more and more ready every month. And if you can go online, there's tons of places, tons of videos on YouTube where people independently have gone out there with cameras, filmed these places. It's easy to see, easy to find. You can look them up on Google Maps. They do exist. They are real, and more people are coming to terms with the fact. But I think a lot of people are still kind of scared to admit to themselves that that's what our government would really use those for. And
I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, go right ahead.
These FEMA camps have been used in World War II when Japanese, with the Japanese.
A lot of them were internment camps. Yes.
These were actually American citizens. They were Japanese, but they're American citizens. They've been here. They had their citizenship.
Absolutely.
And hundreds and thousands were rounded up and put in these camps. So why didn't that happen to us, to undesirables, the people that they don't desire?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to happen to those people.
Well, after 9/11, they have so much freedom now to label anyone a terrorist. Anyone basically with a dissenting voice could be called a terrorist in this new regime. And that alone, it enables them with the power to be able to put into effect these executive orders and overnight congressional sessions where the next day they've got legislation they push through underneath other bills on top, that may have valid causes or may need to be passed, but they've got all these things tucked away in them that are never really spoken about, that allow all these extra powers, and they've been doing this for years and years and years, and to the point now that it's built up so much. I mean, I've got lists of these executive orders of where they can take, land. They can take your land. They can take control of all land vehicles, all sea, air vehicles. They can completely basically shut down the grid any way that they want, from electrical, gas, petroleum, fuels, minerals, your personal vehicles, total control of highways, seaports, waterways, transportation, like I said. the list goes on and on and on and on. Even down to the government to taking over the food supply and resources and personal farms. So,
and I've seen a lot of those executive orders myself. So I know what you're talking about is dead on, because these things are right online for people to go and see for themselves.
Absolutely.
The problem is, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying you can go and Google, executive order, start at the first one, executive order number 10990, and just work your way out from there. And I think people will get the picture from that.
Now, let me ask you this. Why do you think, and then I'll go into these fusion centers, they're called fusion centers, and I have a list of them here on the Homeland Security site of where they're at. They're in a whole bunch of different states and countries. But why do you think that people don't want to see this stuff? Is it that they don't want to see it, or is it that they don't believe, or they just want to put their head in the sand and not hear anything negative and just live their lives in a bubble? What do you think it is?
I think it's sort of a herd mentality. It's a group think. It's a lot easier to not shake your life up, to not believe things that you've been taught your whole life, were one way, to see them in another light. It takes something very dramatic for a lot of people to change their perception. People are so convinced that they're right that it's really hard to convince someone that they could possibly have been wrong in the past. And that's what it's going to take. They have to admit that, obviously they were fooled in the past in order to accept this new knowledge. And I think that's a step that a lot of people just honestly keep themselves from making. They stop themselves from opening their eyes to it because it's not familiar to them, it's not safe, it's not comfortable, it doesn't make them happy, it doesn't entertain them, so they shy away from that.
And it's just easier to live your life. As long as you have food and the comforts of your home, the entertainment like you were talking about, it's easier to live that way than to shake up. It's like Christmas. It's like learning that Christmas is a pagan holiday.
Right.
That's the same type of thing. When you find that out, and then all these years of your life you've been taught to have Christmas, and that is the Christmas spirit and give presents, and then to find out that you were taught wrong this whole time. Like you said, the cattle mentality. You don't want to not believe. You don't want to believe that stuff because you're more comfortable just doing the things that you're used to doing. I totally agree with you on that. I totally agree with you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get to these fusion centers things. They're called fusion centers, and I'm on the Department of Homeland Security's website, and they're all on here. It says many states and larger cities have created state and local fusion centers to share information and intelligence within their jurisdictions as well as with the federal government. The department, through the Office of Intelligence and Analysis, provides personal and operational and intelligence skills to the fusion centers. This support is tailored to the unique needs of locality and serves to help to classify and unclassify information flow, provide expertise, coordinate with local law enforcement and other agencies, and provide local awareness and access. Now, these things were brought up a couple months after 9/11 happened. They just sprouted all over the country. There in Arizona, California, Colorado, Connecticut, D.C., Georgia, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Missouri.
And the list goes on and on.
It goes on and on. And so now you see what these things are about. They're about sharing information, and then you get on people, and then that's on us, their own citizens. They want to get all the information from their own citizens, from our citizens in America, and anything that they think is wrong, or that anybody that's against anything that they're trying to do, this is information they're collecting and getting back to the federal government. How do you feel about that?
It's only going to become worse and worse in that aspect. There's a lot of civilian spy agencies, if you will, that are being set up and have been set up over a course of over 12 years. Minimum that we know about that have been doing this, disseminating this information or gathering this information, disseminating it to the FBI, the CIA, and different intelligence agencies from basically paid informants, people that just go and try to dig their way into cells, dig their way into activist groups, political groups, human rights organizations, you name it, they've infiltrated it. And they're all about trying to find out what these groups are doing or how they could possibly be spreading information about the government that they don't want to be known, or possibly lead to any sort of dissenting voices against this government that might be heard. And they will continue to act on that. That is something that you will see increased, I believe, in the next few months and definitely in the next year or so.
Wow. They got their bases covered, man, and they know they do, and we don't. We're not prepared for anything. I mean, there's few of us out here that are awake and that can see what the government is trying to do and how these power elites are trying to control the world and institute a one-world government, which, in my opinion, is to bring forth the Antichrist into the realm, because you can't have one person rule the world, as the Bible foretells us, unless you have everybody conformed under one. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly what's happening. You look at the United Nations and their policy, that's what they're trying to do. They've been trying to do that for years. For hundreds of years they've been trying to do this. So and
remove us from our weapons and erosion of our civil liberties.
Exactly. And now, see, the way and people don't realize this. They spread this propaganda on the news, and they do it in my area here in New Jersey and Philadelphia. They'll around Christmas time all the time, and sometime in the summertime, they'll tell you to bring your guns in. Like in the summertime, they'll say, bring your guns in and we'll trade in whatever. Like, we'll give you money for your guns, or if you have a crime, we'll forgive you of your crime if you bring your gun in. They do the same thing around Christmas time. They say, bring your guns in, we'll give you a Wii system or Xbox 360 or money. And people don't understand that when you turn your guns in, you're giving away your right to protect yourself. You can't protect yourself when they want to come in, not just when the government wants to come get you, but if there's any type of martial law, any type of riots, when the food shortages hit and people start breaking into houses to get food, you can't protect yourself anymore.
Absolutely. But that just gives you more of a reason to cry out to them, if you will, even more of an incentive to feel helpless, and that the only person you can turn to is obviously the people that created the problem. And that's exactly what they want. Wow.
Well, we got the phone lines open for anybody who wants to call in and have a question for Joshua. The phone number is 1-347-324-5619. If anybody wants to call in, you have to ask some questions, aren't you?
Absolutely, man. Love to hear from them.
All right. So if anybody wants to call in, if not, you can sit back and just listen in. That's fine. But if you want to call in, once again, the number is 1-347-324-5619. We're going to take a real quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk some more with Joshua Hunter, a.k.a. DJ Joshua. Let's get into the RFID chips if you want to get into that. That sound good?
Sounds great, man.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back right here on the Let's Talk Conspiracy Show.
Yeah! Get the new controversial CD, Assault Weapons from Ninja Scroll, featuring the hot single, The Patriot Act.
It's the Red Mask Ninjas, war throw slicing, scream bloody murder, red moon rising, attack of the killer beast, war.
And hell on earth.
George Bush orders, wipe away borders, martial law plan, are you ready for the slaughter? Fake promises, new order, genocide.
And also sins of the founders.
Operation Wonder Twin Towers, activate, bombs go off, authorities came too late, like thunder in the sky, the blaze hit hard, but never.
Yeah, that's right. Get the hot CD, Assault Weapons from Ninja Scroll at www.ninjascroll.net. You can also check it out at www.reverbnation.com/Ninja Scroll. Get informed and get yours today.
All right, we are back, and once again, we have Joshua Hunter, a.k.a. DJ Joshua, he's formerly of the Navy. He was in the Navy and searching, you said? He's in Navy and search, you said?
Search and rescue.
Also, I'm sorry?
Search and rescue.
Search and rescue, okay. He's in search and rescue with the Navy. And he's also a very talented musician who has a CD coming out. What's the name of your CD?
The one that's coming out in March is going to be called The New Beginning. It's basically starting all over from what I did with version 1.0, taking all those thoughts and congealing them into one fluid stream of consciousness.
Okay. That's very good. So make sure you check that out. That's coming out next year. And also he's a researcher. He does a lot of research on different things as far as FEMA camps and the NWO and all that type of stuff. So very knowledgeable about what he's doing. And we're glad to have him on the show here. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the RFID chips, Joshua. So let's get into that. How do you feel when do you feel that this is going to take place? I know that in the Obama health care bill, I can't remember the exact section. I know I read some of that bill, but it does have does talk about having medical registry devices, which you all know a device is a piece of something. It's not in literature or nothing. So we're going to have medical registry devices that will have all of our medical records, personal identification on there, personal records, and banking information on these chips that are going to be implanted in everybody. And this is due, I believe it's due to take place in 2014. I know by 2017 they plan to have everybody chipped. What do you think about that? And give me your thoughts on the RFID chip.
Well, real IDs have kind of been in conversation and talk for a while, and it really was an idea that I think most people it was only talked about in conspiracy circles, for years, sort of like the Amero. If you brought it up, people thought you were crazy. And then now you're watching CNN, you're watching MSNBC, and they're talking about the Amero. They're talking about the real ID chips, the RFIDs, and it's just people are still not waking up to it, though. I don't think that it's really set into people's minds just the magnitude of what that really entails and the ability to have all of your information, and not really even your information, but to be able to possibly globally track you with that card. Even going further from that is they're trying to pull us away from any sort of actual tangible money whatsoever. So they'll all be computerized and all controlled through that same card. So if you happen to be in violation, they can shut your card off, and then you can't travel, you can't purchase anything. You're basically blackballed from our economic system.
And this is all prophesied in the Bible and Revelation. They're talking about you have to have a mark, and if you don't have this mark, you can't buy, sell, or trade anything. Now, I'm not saying that the chip is the mark, but what I'm saying is it is a way for them to enforce the law of the mark.
Absolutely conceivable, man.
It's very intriguing to know that this stuff is happening right now, and people, like you said, still aren't awakening to these facts, even though when you show it to them right in their face. I mean, how brainwashed can you be, and how uninformed can you be? How ignorant can you be when people show it to you? And then still you hear people, they want to argue with you about this stuff, and they want to say that you got that off of YouTube or you got that off the Internet. They got it on commercials on TV. IBM has commercials of a guy walking through a store with no money, just sticking stuff in his pocket and walking right out because he's chipped.
Absolutely. Yeah, and they're trying to indoctrinate, if you will, the American populace into thinking that that's the future, that that's not, anything they should be concerned about. That's just how commerce is going to continue to grow, that it's going to help our economic system even. I mean, these are all obviously just blatant lies in order to try and even further confuse and manipulate the populace into forfeiting every civil liberty that we possibly have. And, I mean, I've had so many debates with people about democracy versus republic and the fact that we are a republic, and we have forgotten that. We've gotten so far away from that we've been convinced that we're capitalist and we're democratic. And neither of those really, in a true sense, are accurate. We were formed as a republic, and anything deviating from that, we've drifted away from what we were originally conceived to be. When Benjamin Franklin had signed the Declaration of Independence, he walked away, and a lady outside the hall had asked him what he had given us. And he said, "A republic, ma'am, if you can keep it." And that rings true with me. And I think that we have failed to keep that republic.
Yes, we definitely have failed to keep the republic. You ask anybody what kind of country we are. Are we a democratic country or a republic country? They'll all say we're democratic. They all think that we're the democracy. We were built as a republic. That's what this country was built on. And like you stated, with Benjamin Franklin, and can we keep it? No, we haven't kept it, and we're not even going to keep the constitutional rights we have. Every time they sign a different bill, some type of right of ours is being taken away, and people don't understand it and don't want to see it, and then or they're taxing us on something, like the Copenhagen thing, or the thing we just had in Cancun. People, they are just taking our rights and taxing us left and right, and they put these bills out, and people don't even know what's in the bills. These bills have more than just, it might be a bill more just about higher taxes. Inside that bill, there's other things that are written in there.
Absolutely.
I remember Obama, when he was running for president, was saying he was going to have transparency and everybody's going to know what he's signing, and you can go online and read the bill yourself. That's not happening. And even if it did happen, who's going to go in and read a 1,000-page bill?
No, it's written to confuse. It's all written to confuse anyone that would try and decipher the true meaning of that bill. There's so much gobbledygook and fill in that even the people that are voting on these bills couldn't make it through these bills to read everything that's contained within them in the time that they're given to vote on it. And that's their intent, so that they're voting on a surface, a mirage of what this bill is about, and not ever actually seeing what that bill carries with it. And they fooled Congress, and of course they fooled the American public with it. And, whether here nor there, how much Congress is involved in fooling themselves, still, it's a giant, scam. It's a big farce. It's a huge mass confusion that they're trying to levy on people through these, to completely keep them away from the actual facts, to keep them away from what's really going on. So they think that, it is a health care bill and it's just going to make stuff better, or it's just going to enforce this one area of national security, when in fact it carries over to every aspect of our lives. And you're right, in every single bill that has been passed recently, we are losing more and more of our civil liberties.
It's something, because nobody wants to hear what we're talking about. Nobody, you get a few people that listen to the show that want to listen to it and know what's happening for real. And then you get some people that listen to shows like this and mine that aren't quite understanding what's going on, but they're learning from this. And then you get the people that flat out don't want to hear any of it. They just want to live their lives and are willing to accept everything that the TV tells them and everything that the news tells them, or the mainstream media and the presidents and these government officials tell us. I don't understand this. And it's hard for me, because I know personally I have people that I deal with daily, friends and family, that I try to show the light to. But my main thing is I want to win souls for Jesus Christ. So I'm trying to do that first and foremost. But in the process, I'm trying to enlighten them on what's happening in the world. It's not a happy place out here. You know?
No, you can live in a bubble.
Right. Or you can live in one of them little glass domes that Santa Claus has when he's shaking, the snow comes down, looks all pretty. You can live in one of them snow globes if you want. But that's going to be shattered. It's going to be shattered, because that is not what life is. The reality of life, everybody has been blindfolded from what life really is. And it shows in movies that we have, like The Matrix, when they're talking about, you've seen the analogies of The Matrix and how Hollywood is showing us what's really going on in the world, but we just don't want to see it.
We turn a blind eye to these things. It's so much easier, like we were talking about before, to really just say, no, that can't be right. I just refuse to believe that. And that's what they do. I mean, a lot of people I've spoken to, after presenting them factual evidence, my research and citing sources for everything that I've told them, taken them on a tour of everything that I've told them, and provided factual basis for every statement that I've made to them. And still, they will just say, I don't even want to think about it, man. I don't even want to know. And that's the kind of mentality that's been bred into us. That's sort of, the sheeple. I mean, that's what they want. They want a populace that's not informed, and they want a populace that's easy to manipulate and control. If you have an informed populace, you will have a populace who will rise up against the government and keep the government in check like we're supposed to. It is our job to be the police of our government. That's the job of the patriot, to watch out for his government, to watch out against his government. That's a true patriot, Right. And people we've been so confused by propaganda, by the television, by movies, by everything, from the music that we hear, all the stuff that they have dumbed us down with, and to the point now that we just believe whatever they tell us. If it's on TV, we assume that it's real. And that's not reality. Nothing that comes through that box is reality.
Nope.
And people fail to make that distinguished line between what is reality and what is Hollywood, what is fiction, what is just a portrayal. I mean, we go through all the way back to American history classes. I mean, we've been told lies and fed lies our entire life about how this country was formed, about the things that we've done in the past, how wars were started, how wars were won. all just to put a positive spin and a positive slant on what our country and our government does. And you see that just repeating, you know? And that kind of mentality is what's so hard to break away from.
The rewriting history books every year. Every year. So now let me ask you this. You being a former military person, what is the consensus of military people that are out fighting and the ones that are here in the country? What is the consensus of them about what's going on, and how do they feel about being brought back into the country to like I know they have the north up there in the NORAD over there up in the north. They have the NORAD command up there where they're going to be using our own military to basically police us. How does the military people feel about this?
Not even our military only. It'll be a lot of foreign troops have already been moved in by the UN to police on our soil. And as far as how the military feels about it, it really depends on the person that you ask. I mean, just as, you know, if you're talking to people on the street, there's some people that are informed and there's some people that are totally blind to it. And the same is true with any walk of life and any career that you choose. I mean, being in it, I kept my mind open the entire time. I never took anything at face value because that's the kind of person that I am. However, people that are easily led will fall right into that. You know, they really think that they're doing the right thing. They feel like they are defending their country, and these are all respectable, you know, intentions. And I do respect the people that are over there fighting and giving their lives and losing their lives and family and blood to them every single day. But I feel that they've been completely manipulated into that situation. You know, I almost feel for them more than anything. And I think that's partially consensus of the people that are over there, too. I think you've probably got a pretty good divide of people that think we're there for the wrong reasons. They're starting to understand things a little better from being over there and seeing what's going on. And then you're always going to have the people that are just going to follow orders. You know, I mean, that's what the Nazis said whenever World War II was over. You know, we were just following orders. And that doesn't make what they did right, and it doesn't make what we're doing right. I don't blame them for following orders necessarily. I don't blame them for doing what they think is right to protect their country. But to do it blindly and for the wrong reasons is the only thing that concerns me. I don't think that they're getting the whole picture at all, you know.
So when you hear people talk about the oath keepers, I know that the military, you were given an oath to protect the Constitution at all costs, basically. Is that something that they would adhere to if they were told to police American civilians?
Again, I think it probably goes back to that mentality of following orders. You know, they were told by a commanding officer that this is what they're doing, and they're taught and brainwashed and conditioned not to ever question an order. So even as contrary or completely ridiculous as that order might sound, it's doing your job to do it. So, you know, you have a lot of people that don't even realize what they're doing, I think. And I don't think that they really will see the magnitude of what their actions are going to bring down until it starts happening. And then you'll probably see more of the backlash, you know. But
I can only agree with you on that. I can't debate that at all because I can see a lot of military guys and women and men doing that. You know, just this is my job. I'm just going to do my job and do what I'm told to do, thinking that that's the right thing to do, and not looking deeper into the subject matter. But
right.
Let's get back to your. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, is this some of the things? Are these some of the things that you talk about on your CDs when you do your music?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I try not to just blandly throw out things about conspiracies or, you know, what if this. I try to put some facts into things, at least try and point people in directions that might cause them to open their minds a little bit, maybe might make them question some of the things that they've heard in the past, or maybe just hear one thing that makes them want to look something up and learn a little more. And maybe that's what it takes for them to, you know, get interested, to get involved. Whatever it takes, you know, I try to approach it from a lot of different angles. You know, not everything is so blatant as just these are the facts and this is what's happening. In a way, I use a lot of double entendres and a lot of analogies to sort of link things in streams of thought so that it will sort of persuade people to be more receptive to it, because I've come at people with just the facts before, and like I said, and we talked about before, they'll just turn, the other way and say, this isn't something I want to believe is happening, I don't accept this. But if you can convince them that inside them is something greater than what they're being right now, that, they have a greater potential than to just be a puppet or to just be a follower, that they could be a leader, that they can think for themselves. Only 13% of this population of the world actually base decisions off of fact and logic that they choose for themselves. The rest just follow what everyone else is doing. And that's how we got into this situation, to be honest with you.
Well, let me ask you, being an artist myself that's doing the same type of thing that you're doing, what do you think it's going to take for us to get more people to listen to our type of music? And also, what do you think it's going to take for us to wake up more people without using the music, just by the formats like this one and using YouTube and the way we talk on Facebook? I know we both put different types of things out on Facebook to try to wake people up.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think it's going to take for us to get this to happen?
More of that, more numbers. And I think that it's starting to happen. You're starting to see more of a conscious hip-hop community forming. And I mean, hip-hop, as it began, was a instrument to unite people and to bring social and economic change. And that's what it is intended for. It's not intended for bragging about women or bragging about money and cars. I mean, that's just a road that we've got down. It's like the distractions, the entertainment thing. But I believe that the true artists are out there, and those numbers are growing. The more that other artists hear artists that are saying really intelligent things and actually putting points out there rather than just going on about nonsense, the more they start kind of following with that movement. And I think that movement is definitely growing. I've personally found more and more artists that are starting to lean towards that way in a more conscious hip-hop manner. And I think that it will inevitably build steam. As far as accelerating that, it's just going to take continuing to do things like what you're doing right now with this radio show, things like what I do with the blogs and the stuff online, continuing to communicate our thoughts and continue to send out this information as much as possible, and just keep not necessarily bombarding people with it, because that's what makes people kind of turn away from it, but keep presenting fresh ideas and new angles and new ways to look at things that they may not have considered before. And I feel it building, though. I really do. I feel that it is building momentum.
In a way I kind of do, too. I see more people talking about different things like this. And another thing I think that helps is that we all support each other. Because right. I know that personally, with the people in my family and the friends of mine that I talk to about this, you seem to get worn down trying to talk to them about it, or they break you down. They mock you or chastise you or make fun of you or whatever. Mm-hmm. We need each other to support each other, and I think it's a good thing that me and you met the way we did. I know we met on Reverb Nation. Right. I'm not giving them no plugs or nothing, but we met there. We do keep in contact on Facebook, and I'm proud to have you as a friend of mine, and I'm really grateful that we did meet, because you're another output that we can talk to when we get down or when we're worn down about this stuff. We can talk to each other to build each other back up.
And that's what it takes. It just takes us all working together, leaning on each other, not being afraid to, continue to put that information out and doing what we're doing. And the support from other people that are doing it, working together and continuing to help build that momentum together. And that's what it's going to take to ever get this thing moving. And it moves in increments, and it seems to be growing, like we talked about. And it is a blessing that we met. I've counted that blessing many times since the day that we did. And I'm very glad to know you. I'm glad to have other artists out there, to know that other people are working at the same goal, because you will get down. You will talk to a bunch of people, and they don't want to hear it. They don't understand. But you do find other like minds and people that you connect with that do have those same ambitions and intentions for their lives and for the thoughts that they're trying to put out there. And it takes the unity of that community, if you will, to really make this happen. I mean, that's where we derive our strength from.
Yes. Very well said, man, and I appreciate that. We got 5 minutes left in the show. So in these 5 minutes, can you sum up what you think the well will be in the next 10 years, or let's say 5 years, because it's moving more rapid than
Oh, absolutely.
where you think we'll be at in the next 5 years, and basically just sum up who you think is involved in all this stuff and where you think we'll be at in the next 5 years.
The people that people need to really start putting some focus on is like the Bilderberg groups. There's a lot of stuff going on behind people's backs. It's right in front of their face, and because the mainstream media refuses to cover it for obvious reasons, that these people either believe it doesn't happen or just never even consider it. People are going to have to start getting more informed, because we are right now on a very fast track to martial law. We're on a very fast track to a one-world government, a one-world religion. The purpose of this new world order has been laid out for a long time. It's not a conspiracy theory phrase. It was quoted by George Bush the first at least 3 or 4 times during his presidency. It's been thrown out there a lot of times. And it is inevitably, ultimately, their goal of the elite, of the oligarchy, if you will, that controls this company and this country. Excuse me. That was sort of a Freudian slip there, because
it is like a company.
It very much so is. And, if we don't start taking action now, then within the next 5 years, we're going to see a complete loss of our civil liberties and our rights as Americans. If we want to save America, this is the time to do it, before it's too late.
So you think within the next 5 years that we'll have our sovereignty basically stripped from us as Americans, and we all know about, most of us that listen to the show, and I'm sure you know about the North American Union that's coming up. They're supposed to be implementing that in 2012, I believe it is.
Right.
That's all part of it. That's all part of stripping our rights, because once we get this North American Union thing with the Amero as the currency for all 3 countries, Canada, Mexico, and the United States, basically we're all going to be under one constitution, and it won't be the one we have now.
No, absolutely no, because our Constitution wouldn't bite for that. So obviously they're going to have to completely rewrite the books in some form or another to even usher this in.
They're definitely going to have to, because if you look at what happened with the European Union, that's exactly what happened. All of those countries that joined the European Union all had their constitutions or whatever they had in their countries taken away from them, and they were all put under one.
Yeah, individual sovereignty is being removed. That groupthink is spread into a world of a one thought, of a single mind, of everyone following the leader, if you will. The individualism is being completely taken from us day by day, bit by bit, piece by piece, systematically stripped from us. And without that, we are nothing.
Exactly. Well, we got 2 minutes left in the show, so these last 2 minutes, why don't you just go ahead and talk more about your CD, get the information out about your CD, and let people know where they can get it when it comes out, and the name of it, and all that good stuff, so people can get this CD, because I'm sure that this CD that you have coming out is going to give a lot of information to people in an entertaining way. It's going to open up ears so they can, be entertained at the same time, but learn things. And like you said, you do the same thing I do. I put words in my songs that people they'll hear a word and say, let me Google what he's talking about, and then they see it.
Right.
So I know you do the same thing. So give us some information about your CD once again, and let us know where to get it, when it's coming out, and all the good information.
All right. The first album that I did, it's called Version 1.0. It's got several good songs like that. It's a lot of instrumental songs. It's available for digital download right now at the Reverb site. The next album that we'll be dropping is going to be that mixtape that I spoke of before on 1/11/11. It will be available through Reverb as well. Also, it will be in a physical release form, and you can buy that CD from me personally, or you can get it through Reverb Nation. The links are through all the sites there. Also, the second album, which really to me feels like the first real album. I'm very proud of the direction it's moving right now. It will be coming out hopefully at the beginning of March next year, and it's going to contain a lot of information. It's a bunch of stuff I've been holding back before, a lot of things I didn't say that I wanted to say on the first album. It's a big piece of me personally, my heart, and where my head's at, and my concerns, mostly for this world, and what we really need to do. So, and all that will be available, like I said, through the site, and also through the page on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, DJ Joswa. welcoming new fans. There's always information on my site like yours, always new information that we post, trying to inform people, gives people another outlet, something else to look at. So.
All right, very good. What we're going to do is I'm going to post your Reverb Nation link on my website, www.ninjascroll.net. So if you guys, it's also in the chat room right now if you guys want to click on it, and you can go check out the Reverb Nation site. But I'm going to put it on my website, www.ninjascroll.net. You go on to the Contact Us page, and I'll put his link for Reverb Nation on there so you guys can get on my website and check it out there. And I want to thank Joshua for coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you coming on, and maybe me and you will do something together on the music side, and hopefully I can have you back as a guest another day.
Absolutely, man. I'd love to. It'd be an honor. I appreciate it. I had a great time, man.
I'm glad you did. It was a great show. I do appreciate it. So that's it for today, and I want to thank once again Joshua Hunter, a.k.a. DJ Joshua, for coming on the show. You can check out his music at www.reverbnation.com/DJ Joshua, or you can go to my website, www.ninjascroll.net, and go to the contact page. I have a link for DJ Joshua's music up on there as well. Once again, thank everybody for listening. That's the end of the show. Thank you, DJ Joshua, for coming on, and
thanks for having me.
I'll talk to you. I'm going to call you up later on tonight. Is that cool?
Sounds good, man. Look forward to hearing from you.
I'll give you a call later on, and see everybody next Friday. Next Friday's show, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk conspiracy. We will have Michael Slattery on the show doing a sermon on Christmas on the 24th. Great holiday show for you. All right, have a good weekend. Take care, Josh.
All right, man. You too.